The Silver Star and the Brave Squirrel. In a peaceful forest far, far away, there was a small squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was not like other squirrels. He wasn't as quick, nor was he the best at gathering acorns. But Sammy had something very special. He was the bravest squirrel in the entire forest. One chilly autumn evening, while the leaves were turning golden and red, Sammy noticed something strange in the sky. A bright, shimmering silver star was falling towards the forest. The star glowed with an unusual light, one that Sammy had never seen before. Curious and concerned, Sammy decided to follow the star. He scampered through the tall trees, hopping over branches and dodging bushes as he kept his eyes on the star's descent. Finally, the star landed in a quiet meadow near the edge of the forest. When Sammy arrived, he saw the silver star glowing faintly in the grass. Beside it was a small creature, no bigger than Sammy himself. It was a fairy, but she seemed weak and fragile, as if the fall had drained her strength. Sammy carefully approached her. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. The fairy looked up with tired eyes and said, "I am Starla, the guardian of the Silver Star. I've fallen from the sky and lost my powers." Sammy's heart filled with sympathy. "What can I do to help?" he asked. Starla explained that the only way to restore her strength was to find the crystal acorn, hidden deep within the dark hollow, a dangerous part of the forest where no animal dared to go. The dark hollow was filled with traps, dark magic, and creatures that frightened even the bravest animals. But Sammy didn't hesitate. "I will find the crystal acorn and bring it back to you," he promised. With that, Sammy set off on his brave quest. The journey to the Dark Hollow was long and difficult. Sammy had to cross a river with slippery stones, climb steep hills, and navigate through thick, thorny bushes. But he didn't give up. He remembered the weak fairy and the promise he had made. After many hours, Sammy reached the entrance to the Dark Hollow. It was cold and eerie, with thick fog swirling around the trees. Sammy took a deep breath and stepped inside. The path through the hollow was dark and twisted. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and shadows seemed to move on their own. Sammy's heart pounded, but he kept moving forward. As he ventured deeper, he encountered a large spider blocking the path with its web. The spider hissed, "Turn back, little squirrel, or you'll be trapped in my web." But Sammy stood tall and said, "I must find the crystal acorn to save a friend. Please let me pass." The spider was surprised by Sammy's bravery and let him pass. Further along the path, Sammy encountered a deep, dark pit. There was no way around it. Sammy spotted a narrow, shaky bridge made of vines. He was afraid of heights, but he knew he had to cross. With trembling paws, Sammy carefully stepped onto the bridge. The vines creaked under his weight, but he kept his eyes on the other side and slowly made his way across. Finally, after many trials, Sammy reached the heart of the Dark Hollow. There, in a small, hidden cave, was the crystal acorn. It sparkled with a bright, magical light. Sammy grabbed it, feeling its warmth in his paws. But as soon as he did, the ground began to shake. The cave started to collapse, and rocks fell from the ceiling. Sammy ran as fast as he could, dodging the falling rocks and racing back through the hollow. His heart pounded in his chest, but he held onto the crystal acorn tightly. Finally, Sammy burst out of the dark hollow and back into the safety of the forest. Exhausted but triumphant, he hurried back to the meadow where Starla was waiting. When Sammy arrived, Starla's face lit up with joy. "You've done it," she exclaimed. Sammy handed her the crystal acorn, and as soon as she touched it, her strength returned. Starla's wings shimmered with light, and her magic filled the air. "Thank you, brave Sammy," Starla said. "You have saved me, and for that, I will grant you a wish." Sammy thought for a moment. "I wish to always be brave, so I can help others whenever they need me," he said. Starla smiled and waved her hand, granting Sammy's wish. From that day on, Sammy was known throughout the forest as the bravest squirrel who ever lived. Whenever there was trouble, Sammy was always the first to lend a helping paw. And the silver star? It shone brighter than ever, a reminder of the brave squirrel who helped a fallen fairy. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. See you next time.